All right, welcome guys to the YouTube live stream. We got 4 NBA games to talk about here on Saturday. Pretty excited for this slate. So if you guys are new to the live stream, how this works is we'll take a look at what we know so far, go over the Vegas odds, and I'll go team by team, talk about the players I like, and get to questions at the end. So hope you guys are having a good Saturday, and let's see if we can make some money tonight. So going over what we know so far. Some of this stuff is, let's see, Cam Reddish is probable, Brandon Goodwin probable, Tony Snell questionable, nothing huge there. Some of the stuff was for the early games as well, the early game, that Phoenix and Philadelphia game. Let's see, bear with me, again, a lot of this is Phoenix and Philly. Mike Conley got ruled out. That was really, the big news we were waiting on because now, honestly, Donovan Mitchell becomes a really good play. Clarkson and Ingles are viable as well. What's going on, guys? What's up, cult members? Yeah, exactly. Cult season. Let's go. Let's see. What else do we got here? Tony Snell ruled out. Nothing big. Cam Reddish available to play. Nerlens Noel will start for Mitchell Robinson. John Wall will play. PJ Tucker is expected to play. Okay, that actually was pretty significant news because with him in, that's one more body in the rotation for the Houston Rockets. So, taking a look at these odds, let's see. Do we have all 4 of the games? That was only 3 of the 4. Okay, so Pacers and Hawks, it's a 223.5 over under. The Pacers are 1.5 point favorites. Rockets and Knicks, a 213 over under. Looks like it's a pick 'em there. Nets and Warriors, yeah, exactly. 245.5 over under. The Nets are 4-point favorites. Heat and Jazz, a 215.5 over under. The Jazz are 7-point favorites. So we'll start off with the Pacers and the Hawks. On the Pacers side, there actually is some guys that I think look pretty good for the Indiana Pacers. Domantas Sabonis being one of them at 9K. Just a guy that, again, does it all with, stuff in the stat sheet. It's a good matchup here. As long as there's no foul trouble or blowout, he will push for 40 minutes. I think Sabonis is a really safe play with some upside there. Malcolm Brogdon, there's a lot of good guard plays on the slate, so I would say he's more of a contrarian option, but we've seen 50-plus fantasy point games here from Malcolm Brogdon, and again, good matchups here for the Indiana Pacers. So the top 2 guys are in play. Would prefer Sabonis if you can get to him. Couple other guys I think are viable here. The Hawks are a bigger front court, so I could see this being a game where, maybe we get close to 30 minutes from Miles Turner. But my issue is I don't think we see much more than that. Like, there was a stretch of games where he was playing 35-plus minutes. Now he's maybe playing 30 at best. And I think for him to have a really big upside game, he's going to need one of those games where it's 4 or 5 blocks. So I'm not saying he's completely out of play, but not a priority for me. McConnell, so they did run an 8-man rotation that last game. He played 32 minutes. The minutes have kind of been fluctuating for these secondary Indiana Pacers guys. So it makes it a little bit tricky. Obviously, if McConnell plays 20 minutes, I don't really like him. If he plays 32, again, I would really like him. But it's just what are we going to get? I would say somewhere in between that. And then I will mention Doug McDermott because he started to play 30 minutes the last game. If we get about 30 minutes again from him, he's definitely a viable value play. The issue with Doug McDermott is a lot of times he is reliant on scoring. Moving on to the Atlanta Hawks, honestly a team I have very, very little interest in. Not the best matchup here. Capella, Collins, Trae Young, I could see going to him in tournaments, but I just have a hard time playing him over Steph Curry, and it's a way better matchup. That's just me. I'm not really interested in Herder or Gallinari or Reddish. Probably would rather look elsewhere. So Atlanta's a team that I will probably be full fading. All right, 3 games left, guys. Let's see. We're at 230 viewers already, 24 likes. Can we get to 100 likes before the show? That'd be greatly appreciated. So hit that like button if you do enjoy. All right, Houston and New York. So no Wood, no Oladipo. I think John Wall is a pretty safe play at 7-2. And the reason being is he should play mid-30s minutes in a close game. I know the matchup's not the best because the Knicks have actually been pretty solid defensively, but again, he's going to be their number 1 guy. I do like him a good amount. I think he's safe, again, with a little bit of upside. Boogie Cousins more the high-risk, high-reward play. Minutes haven't been great on him recently. He hasn't been closing games, 25, 22, and 25 minutes the last 3 games. He is a solid point per minute guy, but just a matter of will the minutes be there. So I can see taking a shot on him for tournaments. Not really a cash game play, though, just because the minutes have been up and down on him. I think Eric Gordon at 5.8K is a guy that is firmly in play, should play 30 to 35 minutes. My one concern with him, kind of like Doug McDermott, is he's reliant on scoring. but he should be their number 2 option offensively besides John Wall. So I do have some interest in Eric Gordon. And the value I do like as well. Now, PJ Tucker playing actually does affect the value. Like, I think those fringe value guys do downgrade them, but I'm not really interested in PJ Tucker. But again, I think he plays somewhere around 25 minutes, which will hurt the Mets a bit for guys like Tate, House, Brown, and Awaba. But with no Oladipo, I think all these guys are in play. So Jayshawn Tate, I would say, plays somewhere around the 30-minute mark. Definitely viable. Danuel House, I would say similar, about 30 minutes. The one concern with Danuel House can be reliant on scoring, but 4.2K, that's a cheap enough price where I'd be willing to take a shot there. Sterling Brown has been good off the bench. He's been running the backup point guard. If he's going to play mid-20s minutes, I think he's actually a solid value play here. And he's small forward eligible too, which is kind of nice. And then finally, David Nwaba. Again, only played 9 minutes that last game. That was with Oladipo. I expect him to probably play around the 20-minute mark, and at 3.4K, definitely in play for value. So really, all those guys who went over are certainly guys I'm looking to for some salary relief, that being Tate, House, Brown, Nwaba, just because they're going to have to play minutes. All right, on the New York side, Julius Randle at 8.7, I think that's just a little bit too cheap, kind of like John Wall. He should be like a 9.5K player. He'll play mid to high 30s minutes. He's a good point per minute guy. I think Randle's really a good option there, safe option. The guards I'm probably going to stay away from with Derrick Rose playing, just really hurts everyone's upside. The chalk play is Nerlens Noel. Now, my one concern, like I said with Isaiah Stewart last night, is foul trouble concerns going up against Boogie Cousins. There is a realistic chance Nerlens Noel gets in foul trouble. So that is really the only way I see him busting, is if he picks up a couple quick fouls. As long as he can stay out of foul trouble, I expect mid to high 20s minutes for him, which makes him one of the best value plays of the slate at 3.9K. If you think he does get in foul trouble, you can look to a guy like Taj Gibson. Either way, I think Taj is actually viable. I'm expecting, close to 20 minutes if there's no foul trouble, maybe a little bit more. Obviously, if Noel gets in some foul trouble, he's at min price. Kind of washed at this point in his career, but, again, min price that you can look to him for some salary relief. All right, so Brooklyn and Golden State, this is the big game to talk about, obviously. 245.5 over under. There's going to be very little defense played in this game. I definitely think you're going to want some exposure to it. The issue I have with the Brooklyn side is just, trying to figure out which guy it's going to be. If I had to pick one, I think Kevin Durant is probably the guy I would look to, just because I think he has a high floor with his rebounding ability, can stuff the stat sheet, can get some blocks and steals. It's a revenge game. He's at 9.6. I think that's too cheap. So KD would probably, I think, be the optimal play here. But that doesn't mean Harden and Kyrie can't have good games either. I like them all. I like all three. And if you want to stack this game, you can definitely do it. You can pair, a couple of the Nets guys with Steph and Draymond and then run value from there. I think that's a good build for GPP. So, I like all three of the Brooklyn stars. No one really else I have interest in. DeAndre Jordan is out. I'm curious to see what they do with the starting lineup. I'm guessing it's going to be Jeff Green starting at the 5. If he does start at the 5, it's just 5.5K is a little bit too expensive for him. Now, I will mention a really dart-throwing tournaments, Noah Vonleh. He's like a undersized big, so I could see maybe him starting at the 5. We'll see. If he does start, I would like him. He's a good point per minute guy. If he comes off the bench, again, it's nothing more than a dart throw, but I just thought I would mention that. Really, no one else I'm interested in Brooklyn. Moving on to Golden State. So Steph Curry at 10.1K, I think makes for a really good play. There is somewhat of a low floor here with Steph, just because, we've seen multiple games like of him hovering the 30, 35 fantasy point range. But in this matchup, I think Steph is a really good spend up. So I do like him a good amount. I do like Draymond Green at 6.7. This is just a game I could see him, really probably get a triple-double, probably get some blocks and steals. It's going to be played really fast. He should play close to 40 minutes. I really like Draymond and Steph Curry. And I think even the guys in the mid-range are viable, Wiggins and Oubre. Normally those are guys I avoid, but in this matchup, I think you can realistically make an argument for any of the main 4 guys there for the Golden State Warriors. Everyone else, I'm probably not going to get to. Toscano Anderson lost some minutes that last game. The minutes are too inconsistent for the bench guys, so I'm probably just going to look elsewhere. All right, final game here, Miami and Utah. Ooh. All right, so the Miami Heat, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, I think are both good options. Are either priorities? No. Tyler Hero coming back, does take a hit to Jimmy Butler. He has had, basically triple-double upside basically every single game, close to it. So I think he's still solid, not a priority. Same with Bam. Hero and none. It's just this Miami team, no one really stands out to me on the Heat. On the Jazz, there's a little bit more to like here. I think Donovan Mitchell is one of the better plays of the slate for sure. He's going to play the point guard position. Again, the high floor with his assists, 11, 9, and 8 the last 3 games of Mike Conley have been out. So I do like Donovan Mitchell a good amount here. He shot 6 of 20 that last game and still put up 45 fantasy points. So I think he's a really, really solid play. I think Rudy Gobert is also a little bit underpriced here at 7.1K. And then you have Ingles and Clarkson that are both solid in the mid-range as well. Ingles should play about 30 minutes. Clarkson about 30 as well. He'll come off the bench. When Clarkson's out there, he's going to shoot the ball a ton. So, yeah, those 4 guys I have interest in. I will mention Derek Favors is a really sneaky value. He actually played alongside Rudy Gobert the last game. He played 20 minutes. He's a decent point per minute guy. This game where he only played 12, he got injured, so don't be too worried about that. I could see Favors pushing close to 20 minutes, and I think no one plays him, so just thought I'd mention him as a really sneaky value play. All right, but that's really it for my breakdown, guys. So let's refresh this. Let's make sure we're up to date, and we'll get to some questions. Alrighty. Best option of 4.9K and below. Let's see. Yeah, I would say probably one of those Houston guys. So, Jayshawn Tate, Dan Wallhouse, and then you got Noel. Really, I think the value in this slate is probably Noel plus the Houston guys. Like that's really where I'm looking for value. I don't really think there's anyone else I want to take a shot on. So, Julius Randle, Eric Gordon, and House, or Kevin Durant, Jordan Clarkson, Sterling Brown. I think the second one for me. Yeah, Sterling's been playing well. Ingles or Clarkson? I think Ingles is a little bit safer than Clarkson. I would say Clarkson might have a little bit more upside, but yeah, both are actually decent plays in the mid-range for sure. Eric Gordon or Clarkson? They are almost identical plays to me. Eric Gordon probably plays a little bit more. He'll play 30 to 35. I expect 30 for Clarkson, but both are guys that are going to come out there and shoot the ball. They're both relying on scoring, so I don't really have a take there. They're really identical plays to me. Randall or Sabonis is a good question. That's both, I think, are a little bit too cheap too. I'll go Sabonis, but that's really close. Can you fade all of Brooklyn? You could. You could do it. Because there's other good spend-up plays, right? We have Sabonis. We have Randall, John Wall, Donovan Mitchell, and then the Golden State guys. So you could realistically fade all of Brooklyn, and it could work out if just like KD, Kyrie, and Harden all kind of have just decent games. They all go for like 50-ish fantasy points. Then there's a way where one of the Brooklyn guys is not in the optimal lineup. Yeah, so again, it's a risk, but you could do it. Vonleh or Noel? Definitely Noel right now. I mean, I think the only way I play Vonleh is if he starts, but I don't think that will happen. Herter, just not for me. Not for me on this slate. I think going to him at 6K, it doesn't make a ton of sense. It's setting up for the stars and scrubs build, and if you play him in the mid-range, then you can only probably get 2 stars, and I don't think that makes sense. Like, I would much rather just get to John Wall for a little bit more, would much rather get to Clarkson for a little bit less. There's probably other guys too. Gobert, Collins, Draymond. I would say Draymond 1, then Gobert 2, then Collins 3. Yeah, again, I think the only way I took a shot at Vonleh is if he starts. If he doesn't start, there's a chance he's not even in the rotation. I'm just saying, like, since Golden State is small ball, I could see him playing, so I just mentioned him as a risky play. 4.5K Jeff Green or 4K Noel? Noel. Yeah. Gallinari chalk? I don't know. I haven't really been super high on Gallinari. He's reliant on scoring. Minutes aren't great on him, so I probably wouldn't do it. Sterling or Nwaba? So Sterling Brown's been playing better than Nwaba recently. So the only reason I'll go Sterling is because he's been the better of the two. One of Sabonis or Brogdon will have a ceiling game, in my opinion. I think so. I mean, as long as the game stays close, I definitely think one of those Pacers stars will have a really good game. Would you fade Brooklyn? I'm playing KD and Steph on the other side. Would not fade Brooklyn. Oh, yeah. I mean, Brooklyn's, it's a risky fade for sure. Randall, Sabonis, or Butler. Sabonis there, but it's close. Yeah, I'm expecting probably around 20-ish minutes for Sterling Brown, maybe a little bit more. Taj and Cash. I mean, he's min price. I think he plays about 20 minutes. You can do it. You can. Oubre or Wiggins? Probably Oubre, just because he's flashed more upside than Wiggins. Green, Curry, McDermott, or Mitchell, Jimmy, and Deneo. The first one. Sabonis, Butler, or Mitchell? I think Mitchell there of those three. Well, I don't think Nerlens Noel is going to play like 30-ish minutes. Like, I think he gets Mitchell Robinson's minutes, which is about high 20s, and then Taj will get the rest. So I'm expecting about 20 minutes from him at min price. I mean, he can get you 15 to 20, so I could see using him. Is Goodwin getting 8 minutes? Probably a little bit, but I don't think we have to go there in the slate. Draymond or Cousins? Draymond. Randall versus PJ Tucker? What do you mean? Is that the matchup going to be? Yeah. Taj Gibson and Noel and Cash. Would I play them both? I guess you could do it, but like I wouldn't go out of my way to do that. I don't like taking a shot at any of the other Nets guys with all three healthy. John Wall is I'm pretty high on Wall. Like Wall and Mitchell in kind of that mid, like just below the Brooklyn and Steph Curry. Like those are the guys I'm really looking to. Mitchell running the point. John Wall is going to play 35 plus minutes in a close game, so I like them both. Gallinari in play, not out of play. Would probably rather get to the Houston secondary plays. Sabonis or Durant. Talk Hawks, please. Not a lot of interest in Atlanta. Trae Young for GPPs. That's really it. I don't really want to play Reddish for value. Would rather play one of the Houston guys. Sabonis versus John Collins and Clint Capella. Yeah, I would rather have Sabonis there. Mitchell, Butler, and Randall. Mitchell, then Randall, then Butler. Value Hawks, not for me on this slate. Think it's Clarkson over Ingles for me. It's a close one with Clarkson and Ingles. But yeah, I might lean Clarkson. For cash, Clarkson, Mitchell, Butler, Sabonis, Gobert, Nwaba, Tate, Noel. Nope. You have no Golden State, Brooklyn. I think that's a mistake. Yeah, I think you can play two Rockets value. Brogdon and Mitchell or Steph and Clarkson tonight. Upside wise is the second one for sure. First one's probably a little bit safer. I would say first one's a little bit safer. But I think the second one has more upside if things go right. Steph Curry, Mitch, Donovan Mitchell, Brown, Randall, Noel, Gordon, Von Lund, Cousins. Again, like fading the Brooklyn Golden State game is like if you fade that, you absolutely need the blowout. You need a blowout there. If you guys fade Brooklyn Golden State and that game stays close, you're going to be in for a world of trouble. So if you're fading that game completely, you absolutely need a blowout. Because that game stays close, there's going to be a couple players in the optimal lineup from Brooklyn and Golden State. Donovan Mitchell or Randall, I mean, I'll take the discount of Mitchell, but I do like both. Randall or Durant. Gibson and Noel, Cash again, yeah. So I think it's like fringe, like I don't love it, but I guess it's fine. Derrick Rose for Cash, nah. You could like if I'm going to take a shot in one of the New York guards for GPPs, it'd be Rose. No thank you on Bullock. Nwaba and Sterling Brown in the same lineup, I think that's fine because they're both really cheap. I'm expecting both those guys to play 20-ish minutes, maybe a little bit more. KD and McDermott or Sabonis and House. KD and McDermott. No, I think you could realistically play favors there. It is risky, but like if he plays 20 minutes, he probably will pay off that salary. 6,500 and an under guard. Let's see. It's kind of like a dead range for me. So, I don't want to play Herder. I don't want to play Hero or none. It would be, I guess, Wiggins or Eric Gordon. Again, I don't love playing Andrew Wiggins, but for the matchup, I could see going to him. So maybe just go Wiggins because of the matchup. Wall or Brogdon, I'll go John Wall there. In cash, would you go Harden, Oubre, Cousins? I wouldn't play Cousins in cash. Or Gordon, Durant, Capella. I honestly don't really like either for cash games. I don't think I would play Capella in cash. I don't think I would play Cousins in cash. 5,500 and under for small forward. Again, this is another dead range. So I'm not playing Justin Holiday. I'm not playing Alec Burks. I'm not playing Lamb. I'm not playing Toscano. I think you got to move some stuff around because I would settle maybe in one of those like Houston wings with like Tate or House, but that's going to leave some salary on the table. So yeah, there's not much there. I could see a ceiling game from John Wall tonight though, for sure. He's cheap enough. Like he's still priced for playing like 28 to 30 minutes. Best 6K player for utility. Let's see. I would say probably Eric Gordon, or Ingles Clarkson, like one of those. Side bet and Draymond ejection. You can see it, going up against KD. Last piece of 4.1K or lower. Yeah, it's probably going to be, Nerlens Noel. Noel's at 3.9. If not Noel, then I would just go to one of the Rockets guys. So like Brown or Nwaba. That's probably what I would do. Brogdon, Gordon, or McConnell, Wall. I think even though I like Wall better than Brogdon, I think that combo Brogdon-Gordon is better than McConnell-Wall. Bay's more viable. I just don't trust the minutes in these Golden State secondary options. I mean, you could probably one of those guys will have a decent game. Like Bazemore is a good point per minute guy, but it's just like Steve Kerr doesn't want to give him minutes. So, not saying he's completely out of play, but you're going to need probably foul trouble from like Oubre or Wiggins. Cash value, again, Noel and Rockets value is really where I'm looking. Clarkson and Wall or Mitchell and Gallinari. Clarkson and Wall, just because I don't really want to play Gallinari. Yeah, favorite 3 Rockets, Wall at the top. I don't really have a favorite value. I think that the 4 of the guys I'm looking to are Tate, Sterling Brown, Daniel House, and Nwaba. I mean, Nwaba's probably the riskiest of the bunch because the minutes have been the lowest on him. So maybe put him at the bottom. But then, yeah, with like Nwaba, Tate, and Sterling Brown, I don't have a super strong take on that. Yeah, Draymond for cash, yeah. For sure. Sorry, guys, this is going a little bit fast, so if I missed some questions, I apologize. Sterling Brown or Noel? Noel. 5 to 6K guard. Yeah, so again, not a range I love. It would be the same answer. So Eric Gordon or one of the Utah guys. Clarkson or Ingles for GPP? I'll go Clarkson there. Ingles or Gordon? Don't really have a strong take on that. I think they're both solid plays. Too risky to fade Noel in the high dollar stuff? Again, what you need there is you need the early foul trouble against Boogie, which is 100% possible. Not saying it can't work out, but Noel is going to be really popular in the high dollar stuff. And if he stays out of foul trouble, you're probably drawing dead. So it's really risky. You absolutely need the foul trouble or something weird to happen with Noel. So it's a pretty big risk. 3,100, I don't know if there's anyone down in that range. No, there is. Taj Gibson. Taj Gibson's the min price. So I don't even think there's anyone else viable down here. But yeah, Taj should play the backup center. So if we do get foul trouble, he'll play more. He's at min price. Taj. All right, guys, a couple more minutes here. Nwaba or Favors? That's a good one. I think I'll go Favors there. Noel or House? Noel. Is cheap. Juan Toscano Anderson lost minutes last game. So that's why I'm I don't love it. Curry, Rose, Tate, Sabonis, Favors, Wall, Draymond, House Jr. I think it's solid. And Rose is a little bit contrarian for sure. Butler, Mitchell. Draymond or Wall? Poof. Draymond if I had to pick, but I like both. No, I like Brogdon. I just prefer Sabonis. And there's a lot of good guard plays. I would rather have Donovan Mitchell than Brogdon for more. I'd rather have John Wall than Brogdon for less. But we've seen big games from Malcolm Brogdon. I would not be surprised if it was a big game against Atlanta. So That's just my take. I think he's not out of play. I just prefer some other guys a little bit more. Favors or Vonleh? Favors, because we know he's going to be in the rotation. Vonleh could not play, so yeah. Kelly O or Favors? Well, the difference is way, isn't Kelly Olynyk like 5K? Yeah, he's 5'2". So, I mean, if you can get to, it probably doesn't matter, Olynyk, because he'll probably play mid-20s minutes. Hero, Gordon. Curry, Clarkson, and House, or Wall, Brogdon, and Tate. I think I'd rather have the first option. 3.6K guard. I think there's only one. I think it's only Nwaba there. Let's see. I can check, though. 3.6K. Yeah, so I wouldn't play Bazemore. Don't really like Lee. Yeah, it's probably just Nwaba. And again, I don't love Nwaba, but I think we get somewhere around mid-20s minutes for him. So the answer would be Nwaba. Thanks, DK. Love your work and makes lockdown easy. Aussie. Appreciate that, man. Thank you. All right, guys. One more minute here. Sorry if I missed a couple of things. Again, it's going a little bit fast. Brown or Favors? Brown. Wall and Gordon combining for 85 plus tonight. I could definitely see it. I like them both. Noel, 2 fouls in 4 minutes. Yeah. Again, Noel, like that is a concern, just like it was with Isaiah Stewart. Isaiah Stewart picked up the 2 quick fouls. So who came in and smashed? Sadiq Bey off the bench. So, yeah, if you're fading Noel, if I'm fading Nerlens Noel, I'm playing Taj Gibson. Because I think the way Noel doesn't get there is foul trouble. If he gets in foul trouble, Gibson's coming in, and then Gibson will play more minutes. So if I would make a rule of making a lot of lineups. If no Nerlens Noel, play Taj Gibson. Utility under 4K, it's going to be Nerlens Noel. All right, guys, one more minute here. Let's make sure we're up to date. Couple more questions, then I gotta get out of here. Knicks, Peyton. Okay, that's what we expected. All right, so yeah, nothing too crazy here. Wall or Mitchell? If you can get to Mitchell, I prefer him, but point per dollar, it's basically coin flip. Those are two of the better plays for sure. Tater House, probably. I mean, I guess House, but again, that's basically coin flip. Like I said, I don't have a super strong take on those guys. Randall and Wall or Butler and Mitchell. Randall and Wall. Goodwin with Rondo out, it's risky. It's pretty risky. Wall or Mitchell. Again, Mitchell, if you can get to him, but point per dollar, it's a coin flip with those two. Appreciate that, man. Should I run Curry, Wiggins, Durant, and Green? Yeah, you can definitely full stack. If I'm stacking a game, it's Golden State, Brooklyn. Thoughts on Cousins in play for tournaments? Definitely in play for tournaments. Play Gibson and Noel together. Again, it's a little bit of a risk. There's negative correlation. They're not going to be out there at the same time, but they're both cheap enough where they could pay off their salary, right? So if we get 28 minutes from Noel, 20 from Gibson, they can both pay off their 3 and 3.9K price point. I think upside-wise, probably one is the way to go. Again, if you're fading Noel, I'm playing Gibson. So, yeah. Anyone, Randall, Clarkson, or Gordon, Butler? I think I'll go Randall Clarkson there. Pay up at the slate. Steph or one of the Brooklyn Stars. Noel is super chalk. Yeah, so Noel's going to be really chalky. If you want to get contrarian, you can fade him and hope for the foul trouble. Brogdon or Wall? Wall or Draymond Green, but that's close. I like them both. Are you fading Nets? No, I have one Brooklyn guy in my lineup. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Good luck to everyone, and I'll see you all back here for another stream on Sunday.